Hey, welcome everybody to Tech Tips Tuesday tonight. It's September 19th. Oh my gosh, middle of the month. 2023. Better put that in there because this recording maybe lasts forever. I'm joined. My name's Ken Close. I'm a Healy World member, like most of you guys here in the USA. And an engineer is my background. I've been with Healy for a while now, coming up on my 4th year, Jake. Whew.
Wow.
All right. I know, right?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm joined, folks, by Jake Barron, our head of operations in Florida. Hi, Jake.
Hey, Ken, I'm coming up on almost my 3rd year. So,
Right
yeah,
on. Yeah, we're old timers here, right?
that's right.
And we have, who do we have in the
We have
chat?
Dongmi helping us out. She's on the call again. Just you saw her a couple weeks ago, but
All right, Dongni. Well, thank you so much for helping us out. I'm sure you guys will see lots of great answers from her back there in the chat. So make sure you pay close attention to those answers. So here's what we do, guys. Those of you that are first timers to Tech Tip Tuesday, well, again, I'm super glad you're here. And the way this works is this is a chat-based forum where you guys plug your questions into the chat. And then Jake and I or Dongni, whoever's grabbing those, we'll bring them out here on the call and we'll sort them out. We'll find some answers and solve some mysteries. I think that's a lot of fun. What we can't do, folks, though, is just understand that we're not doctors, we're not physicians, we're not practitioners in medicine or any kind of preventative health things. So we can't treat, diagnose, prevent, or even really discuss any of the Healy programs that are designed for anything. So hopefully that makes sense. And there is resources for that. So we can point you in the right direction. If you're looking for some stuff, the database is amazing that Healy has created for that. So, so if you guys need more info on that, we'll talk about it. But for now, hey, let's get this party started. How about that, Jake?
Let's go.
All right. Well, here we go. So Izzy says already hi from Colorado. Howdy. You know, fall is kind of in the air, it feels like. So let's see.
We got a hi from the villages in Florida. So it's just a little bit north of me here in Orlando. So welcome.
Welcome and hi.
I think the first question I see, I like the way this one is worded here because I don't think anyone's asked it quite like this, but how often do you do a hard reset on your Healy? So, we talk about this a lot, the process of doing a hard reset if you run into any sort of issues as part of a troubleshooting process. But as far as, again, almost 3 years, almost 4 years, there's not really a set interval where it's okay, every 3 months I should do a hard reset. Because everything's working fine, there's really no advantage to doing a hard reset on your Healy device. Turning off your phone, restarting your phone, clearing the cache, that kind of thing, that is something to do on a regular basis. But if you have no issues with your Healy device, it's connecting fine, it's running fine, the battery algorithms calculate everything good, no issues there. There's not like a regular maintenance on the device itself that you should have to do as far as hard reset goes. Of course, if you're having connection issues, you can't connect to the app. It's, all of a sudden you can't do that. And then you've tried restarting your phone and tried resetting turn off the Bluetooth and resetting your Wi-Fi and all these kind of things. And you still have an issue. Okay, yes, do a hard reset. See if that'll clear out what was whatever causing that particular connection issue. But Ken, is there really any reason why you should do it when there's no issue present?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm a firm believer if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? It's like there's really nothing that you have to do. There is not a recommendation for a reset frequency at all. So internally, it's the circuitry is fairly simple, but the handling hardware or software on the outside is the complexity. So that's where we usually have our issues is with the software, something like that. So no, you're good. Okay, so here's another one. So Laura says, I've been having difficulty sending videos from the Academy to folks. Yep. So the Academy. So Jake, you want to tell them about logging in and how can we send videos from there? Or,
Sorry, I was muted there for a second. Yeah, so in the past, most of the videos in Academy, there wasn't a way to share them because you had to be logged in, that kind of thing. So you could tell somebody, okay, go to your Academy and go to the Healy section or the MagHealy section, something like that. But as far as sharing, there wasn't a great way to do that. But if you've noticed, I don't think it's all, I haven't checked every single video, but most of them now, there is a way to share it. So let me share my screen so I can show you what I'm referring to here. Let's see, screen 2. Okay, so I'm logged into Healy Academy, and you'll see here I'm in the MagHealy section. But if you go to one of the videos, let's just click on this one here, guide for the MagHealy device. I'll pause it, but you see the upper right-hand corner, there's a little sort of arrow. So if you click on this arrow, it brings up the Vimeo link. So this is the link directly to where those videos are hosted on Vimeo. So you can copy this link and you can share it, Facebook, Twitter, email. So it's easier now. Or you can just copy the link address yourself and send it however you feel like it. But most of these videos now do have this option to send it. So if it's, say, let's go to the Healy section, okay, I really want to send how the Healy programs work. This question comes up a lot. This is a great video for anyone new to Healy. Said, hey, well, how does it know what frequencies to send me? What is exactly is it doing? Great video on how to do that. But again, click the play button. And then after you do that, you'll see the arrow pop up, and then you'll see where on Vimeo those are hosted.
I like that little icon. I call it the paper airplane. Look for the paper airplane in the top corner.
Yeah.
Little paper airplane up there. That's kind of how you fly it away to somebody.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So now we can. So that's new, by the way.
Yeah. Actually, I was looking through it. It was, I think, just in the last month or so. I think I haven't checked all the videos, but I think most of them now have this option there.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see. How do we get rid of the chime in the Blue app? So in the app, you don't.
So send feedback. Use the send feedback option to the app development team. The more people that request for that to be, from what I've heard, there has been many people that have asked for that option, and from what I understand, it'll be included in a future update. It's not the highest priority, but I believe it is something that is planned as one of the future updates, the option to turn that sound off, just like in the Healy app itself. But Ken, I know you were going to explain the workaround.
yeah, really, you can't in the app. The only really the workaround is to silence your smart device, right? Turn the sound off, and it won't play that chime at the end. However, that you won't get a phone call, it won't make a sound. Any of your other notifications also will not make a sound, but that's something that's set up on your smart device, because you're actually going into settings and you're shutting off sound across the board, essentially, which is going to be not just the Healy app, but also everything else. So that's one option. And personally, I like doing that. My phone's mostly on silent anyway, just because it makes a sound about every 5 minutes. So.
Yeah, it's the same with me. Even during the beta process, I always, my sound's been on silent. And when someone asked about it for the first time, I said, "What chime?" I had never heard it before, so I turned the sound up and I said, "Okay, I got it. I understand." But yeah, I believe this is something that'll be addressed in the future update.
Yeah. Now, what I haven't done is, because you can turn notifications off for certain apps, and I have not done that by turning the notifications off for just that app to find out if that actually shuts off the sound. It's logically it should. So you could go and see within the apps the settings on your smart device and go and turn notifications off. Now, give it a shot. I haven't done it. I just have mine's on silent all the time. Okay. Let's see what else we got.
I think there was a part 2 to that question about sending videos from Academy, because I'm able to download brochures and the manual attached to emails, but it often doesn't appear on the recipient's end. So this is interesting. It sounds like the attachments aren't going through to this. Maybe they're getting removed by the email server or something along the way, or they're over a certain size. I'm not sure, but if you're able to download them onto your own device, there's something with your email that you're doing. That's either they're not getting attached to the email properly, or the recipient's email server is blocking attachments for some reason there.
Yeah, some of the email handling systems, copy and paste does not add an attachment. It doesn't. There is an actual attachment addition icon where you can actually add an attachment, whether it be a file, a video, a photo, whatever. And then, as Jake said, most of the email systems have maximum sizes. In other words, how much memory or how big that file is. So, so take a look at your actual email handling system and find the spot in which you would add an attachment. And then now know that attachment has to be within the file system of your whatever you're emailing from. So if it's your smart device, there's a different modality in which that works versus, say, your laptop or your PC, your computer. But the file is going to have to be on the memory or on the hard drive of wherever you're adding the attachment to your email from. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So here's one. Let's see. If you are, where did it go? If you are running IMF and the picture shows that you should use the sticky pads on the neck, is the IMFs less effective if you use the wristbands? I love this question because it's because the app does show you the most effective application, the most effective method. And there's a reason that it's showing you with those sticky pads on, essentially it's the mastoid bone, right? The mastoid bone, which is right at the base of the skull, right behind your ear. Okay. And then also some of them have showing a little bit lower on the body at essentially the brachial plexus, which those two areas are really a direct connection to the spinal column or the neural pathways to the brain. And the program is designed to influence that pathway. And so the reason that it's not asking you to put it on the wrist to go globally through the body is because those frequencies are designed for a specific influence from that neural pathway. So does it hurt you? No, I mean, it doesn't. Again, Healy's designed the system to optimize the effectiveness. That's why it's showing you that picture. All right. So would you get the same effects? I have not tested that. I do the wristbands on the applications for the most part if I have an acute condition of some sort and the program is showing those connections in the area to address the acute condition, then I put them there. I put them there because I'm going to maximize my effectiveness. Okay. And Dominique's putting some great information in there for you as well. All right. So
from Marty said a couple questions, but first one here says, do I wear the Healy all the time, even after I'm done with a program? What is the purpose of that? And do the frequencies keep running even if I am not doing a program? So you're welcome to wear the Healy device. If you want to keep it clipped to your shirt, that's fine. It's the best place for you on a lanyard, that kind of thing. It's certainly an interest generator. If you're walking around town, people might ask you about it. And you can easier to share the Healy device. But once that program stops and there's nothing else being transmitted, there's no benefit to continuing to wear it, other than it looks kind of cool. So
Yeah. I wear mine a lot. Sometimes it depends on what I'm doing. I'll wear it under my shirt, but a lot of times I wear it on a lanyard on the outside. Because first of all, I love my lanyard. I love that. But I like to show the device, and I get a lot of questions. I also use the microcurrent, so I'm connected via the wristbands. And so I get a lot of questions, and I can actually, this is new, folks. I was just telling Jake, this is my 4th year, coming up on my 4th year anniversary here in about 45 days. And, but this technology in the overall scheme of things is still very new and unknown. And so, this is again, why we're here on Tech Tip Tuesday, because we do dive deep into some subjects and try to unpack some of these, unknowns. But when I'm out and about and people ask me about, what is that? I do talk about what we can now do. We can now speak to the individual cell systems within our body through energy, through microcurrent and frequency. And this is a new way of addressing the body's health. Okay. Second question. I don't see it.
I'm looking. I think it might be maybe further down, but there was. Thank you, Dongmi, for putting the link. Someone asked, "What's the Healy Academy?" So, thank you, Dongmi, for explaining that and putting the link in there to answer that one. So appreciate that.
Okay, so here's one. There's a question about the MagHealy, and Kristen says, "Love it." By the way. Not sure what intensity to use on programs though. And for water, does intensity depend upon amount of water? There's actually a chart, right? There's actually a recommended intensity for the different programs, right? Do you have a link to that, Jake? Or is that in
I'll pull it up here and show where that.
Okay. So yeah, there are recommendations, and so the volume of water. I love talking about this because people a lot of times talk about how long to run a program in vibrate mode and all that kind of stuff, and what we're missing is that the frequencies operate and permeate at the speed of light, and water is an amazing conductor and transmitter of light. And so you can do an ocean in a very short period of time. I mean, honestly, it will emanate a signal, and the conductivity of the water could upregulate in a second. So amount's not as amount of water is not as relevant as the frequencies you're applying. And so there's a chart that shows that how long to do certain things recommended.
I'll share my screen now and show this.
And these are
okay. So this is in the MagHealy manual. This is available in your back office, available also within the Healy app itself in that information section. But if you, for example, if you scroll to the first application there, the MagHealy Classic application, you'll see here each program has a recommended. It varies quite a bit for especially for these classic ones. The first ones are 70 to 100. Then you see others are only 5 to 15%, joints 20 to 50. Again, these are recommended intensities, but even with that, you really have to sort of default or go by what your body is telling you. So if this says, hey, you should run this in 70 to 100%, but you're running it at 75% and it doesn't feel comfortable to you, back it down some as well, and get kind of used to how your body reacts to these these in different intensity ranges. So there's quite a bit of a range there. And then for the water one, you'll see here the recommended intensity is 100% for all of them. So it doesn't matter if you're, using this to inform 3 ounces of water or 3 gallons of water, just 100%. There's no reason to do below 100% for that on the water itself. And those are short. They only take 10 minutes too. So it's very easy to throughout the day, inform that water with, do different ones throughout the day. And then, yeah, so you'll see for atmosphere, there's a big range, 30 to 100%, and then McMakin, same thing, 20 to 100%. So it's really essentially saying, listen to your body as far as what that intensity should be for you.
I always say that. Always listen to your body, because oftentimes we don't. We just grin and bear it. That's not. I mean, I train athletes and performance people, and it's you got to pay attention to the body, because if we're doing something and it's irritating the body, it's trying to give us feedback, and then we work with it. Yeah, so it's really important. All right. What else we got?
Okay, we got a success story on being able to copy the Vimeo link now via Academy, so that's great. Good to hear that. Let's see.
Where was I? I'm not sure if that was helpful. Okay, so here's one. Okay, so here's one from Jade. I don't know if we've gotten to this one, but since replacing my non-functioning Pro, I'm having many problems. Coaching disappear. I cannot get my expert program into in the pink app. There are no history links recorded in the blue. Can't find any programs I recently ran. It just says history this week and nothing there. Okay. So I'm wondering if this new serial number is actually, if you can see this new serial number within your devices on your Heal Advisor, in your Heal Advisor. Maybe it's not been assigned for some reason. If you put in a ticket asking, to this effect, Jade, because we want to make sure that that device is, listed and it is actually downloading all the functions that are on your account, especially since you're talking about you just replaced a non-functioning Pro with this one, and it's possible that some of those things have not been linked to that serial number. So you could actually, if you did put in a ticket, you could, Jade, send that to Dongni and see if you guys can kind of go back and forth there. Was there?
Yeah, definitely when you be sure, I mean, maybe you have already, but when you first get that Healy device, everything needs to be updated in the Healy app itself first. So make sure you go into the Healy app, check for updates there, because that could have an effect on what modules are loaded onto the Analyse app. Even though there are two separate apps, actually loading them onto your device starts with the Healy app itself before everything. Like when you purchase a new program, that kind of thing too, you always go to your Healy app first, download the update, and then go back to open up the Analyse app as well and have it sync.
Yeah. All right. I know that's one of the things that I constantly coach about, updating the pink app, and and then going in and logging into the blue. There is a correlation to that sequence.
And I think we missed this question. It was earlier up, but it says I have an LG, I guess phone probably, with Healy loaded, but now when I want to go on the Analyse app to scan, after it loads, takes about 5 minutes, and then I click the blue dot, and then I get the message, activate Bluetooth on my smartphone. So on the smartphone message there, but it is activated, and on the Healy app, the regular Healy app, everything works fine. So in that case, they, probably the Bluetooth would need to be active if it's working fine on the Healy app. They have a second phone and it does the same action on it. So interesting puzzle here.
So yeah, Androids, I've seen this in the asking of activating Bluetooth function. If you go into your Android, and I don't do a lot with Android, but if you go to your Android and you take a look at your Bluetooth devices, you'll see Healy there, most likely, right? And so one of the easiest ways to force that connection is to delete that device out of there, turn your Bluetooth off, reset the Healy, hard reset the Healy, turn the Healy back on, open the app, and let it reconnect. You should not have to do any allowances from your smart device with your Bluetooth. You shouldn't have to say, I've had people say, well, it's asking me for a password, excuse me, or something like that. Should not have to do any of that. And if it is, then what's happened is the Android software is kicking in before and trying to manipulate the Bluetooth signal from the Healy before the app is doing it. And it's supposed to be done through the app. So there is a bit of a timing thing there that can mess things up.
Yeah, I'm also wondering, because when you set up, they mentioned the Blue Dot app, so I'm wondering if this is the old Analyse app or the new Analyse app. But when you go to set it up on your device, there's certain messages that pop up that you need to enable along the way. So it could be that when you set it up on those devices, you accidentally clicked no or not allow, which then could affect some of those settings as well. So you could go to your app settings, just pull up the app, not the app itself, but the settings on the phone, find that app. I'm not 100% sure of where to go on Android for that, but in iOS, you go to your settings and then go to the app, and you can pull up within there, you can pull up the access to photos, Bluetooth, camera, notifications, background app refresh, cellular data as well. So it could be something that you maybe just didn't notice when you were loading that app onto it the first time. But I could try the delete the app and reinstall it, restart the phone too. And worst case, I guess not worst case, but you could also try the hard reset that we were talking about earlier too.
Well, sometimes, okay, so when these apps are connecting to your hardware, all right, they're building handshake functions and allowances, authorizations, and some of these things are only done during the initial loading of the app, okay, of the software. And then even when you go back into some of these settings, you can't change them, or the setting itself that you're trying to change does not appear there because it was something that was automatic function within the app, and they don't want you to go back and change it. So the only way you can actually reset that is to delete the app, shut the smart device off, allowing all that connection to be removed, and then turn the smart device back on, reload the app, and then carefully watch the process of that authorization and allow everything. Just say yes, allow within that app, and see if that does it for you. So here is the second question, the part two from the MagHealy questions is, what's the best way to keep it on your back or your belly when you're doing other stuff? So I'm assuming having the MagHealy, you're applying a certain program that's assigned for your body. How do you hold it on your body, right? So yeah, so the question here is, can you use a fanny pack or something like that? Yeah. There's been a lot of folks that have used like little pouches or fanny packs or, things like that, to have the device somewhere close, and keep it in a certain space on your body while it's perfect. It's, as long as the fanny pack itself is not going to hinder the function no more than like the clothing you're wearing. So unless it's made of copper or lead or steel, I'm sure you're not going to have one of those. But metallic surfaces have a tendency to refract or negate some of the frequencies. So, most cloths, I like natural cloths, that kind of thing, in terms of a carrier or something like that. Yeah, there's lots of options out there. Let's see. Dixie asked how long the water stays charged from the MagHealy. We've had this question before, right? How long it stays charged. Healy gives, again, an optimized time. Is it 12 hours? What was it?
Yeah, I mean, that in general, I mean, you want to use it as soon as possible after you inform it with those quantum analyzed frequencies. The sooner the better, but definitely within 12 hours. And there's actually a new video in Academy from just the last couple of weeks on the water application in the MagHealy section, and explains a little bit about, it explains in the video too, the sooner the better as far as when you're using it. So
remember that water is taking on all kinds of information. And so when you're reformatting that information with the MagHealy, because that's what you're doing, you put the MagHealy on the container, you're reformatting whatever that water frequency and that structure was, the information in that water. But if you just set it down, remember the ambient influence is going to start to take hold again. So whatever it was, whatever that information was that it had prior to your MagHealy influence, it's going to come back, right? So I would definitely make sure that you drink it right away, use it right away, or if you have to, infuse it again. So
yeah,
hopefully that helps.
Okay, let me go back up here. So this was part 3. So I have someone has a friend in the US who was given a European Healy edition, EU adapter, ear clips. Like, yeah, the ear clips are available in Europe. They aren't available here. But the question is not about the ear clips. It's about, can you charge it with a US adapter? So yeah, you can take your Healy anywhere around the world, because even the ones in Europe, they have the micro USB port, which just plugs into a USB block that you can use in any outlet here. So Ken, I know a lot of the first people here in the US, all they had were European devices when they first came, right?
Yeah, and we got actually, in fact, my very first one had a plug-in AC deal with the two round pins, from Europe, right? Well, that's not going to plug in the US, right? But here's the key thing, folks. USB. It stands for Universal Serial Bus, or Universal Serial Base, but it is the bus, not like the bus you get on for going to school. It means like a matrix, but it is a universal serial port. So in other words, across the world, if it has a USB port, whether it's micro, mini, or the standard USB port, the standard voltage is always consistent, no matter where it's plugged in, no matter what frequency. Because in Europe, they have a different frequency of the AC signal than we do in the United States. US is 60 hertz, Europe is 50 hertz. Some devices can't handle that. But when we're charging a battery, which is what in Healy, the actual device that's plugged into the wall is converting that signal from the outlet, the AC signal, into a DC signal that will charge the battery, right? And it's always going to be the proper voltage because it's a USB. Okay. So don't worry about that. You're good. Your Healy won't get hurt. Take it anywhere you want. Take it everywhere. Okay. I take mine everywhere. And by the way, I have I carry around with me when I'm traveling a portable battery. So I've got some fairly elaborate ones, one that's about the size of my smart device, you know, and then I've got some smaller ones that are just like little cylinder types. And these guys here, you know, you recharge this guy and you can plug your Healy in and it'll charge your Healy. This one actually will charge my Healy 3 times. So it doesn't have to plug in anywhere. I plug it in to recharge it. But sometimes that's not handy when you're traveling. So I highly recommend you guys travel with, you know, a battery backup charging system. They're great. All right. Let's see. Okay, so here's a question. The problem that they're having is when I go to my history of clients and choose the one I want to send via email, I click the 3 dots in the upper corner, then on export PDF, I get this message in the box that says OneDrive PDF viewer. To read this file from this device, go to your device settings. Okay, so it looks like there's a settings. Okay, so someone's trying to export a PDF from the Analysis, and the smart device, in this case is a tablet, is not letting that happen. Let's see, it says here before the update, the blue and pink app sending emails. Okay, apparently this was working before the update. Now it is not. Now, hopefully, let's see, the Samsung tablet that was recommended was 3 years ago, was the tablet, Tab A. Hopefully your tablet is using the proper software. This is where folks are running into some of the snags with these new apps and older smart devices. The older smart devices only ran up to a certain version of the operating system. All right. These new apps require 11.0, minimum 11.0. And so what I recommend is go to your smart device, go into your settings under probably the information tab. Maybe it's under general, and the general information tab of your smart device, and take a look at what software version or OS or operating system version it's using. It's got to be 11.0 or more or higher. Otherwise, some of these functions, what we call I/O or input output, between the app and the hardware of your smart device, can't talk to each other. So it's like, you know, it's trying to take a file and then go and find some modality in which it could ship that file out on the internet. And it's not compatible. So take a look at that. That's very, very important. If you don't know how to take a look at your software version on your smart device, go to YouTube. Go to YouTube and just search in how do I find my version software on my tablet or whatever. And you'll find a video that shows you exactly how to do that. All right. So Dongni's in there.
Do you think, because she mentioned the it looks like it's pulling up the PDF viewer built into Microsoft OneDrive.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if she were to just try downloading just the free Adobe PDF viewer as another option to open those PDFs. So when she goes to click on the file itself, maybe it'll open in she gonna choose, which program to open it with, possibly, to get around that? I don't know. Maybe if she only has one PDF viewer installed.
Yeah, um the the operating system on your tablet, all right, it's all Microsoft driven or PC driven essentially. So it's going to have some settings already assigned to it in terms of what it most likely will use as a handling program for, say, a photo, say a document file, say a PDF in this case. And yeah, it's true that if you have a PDF handling program on your smart device, then here's the thing is there's got to be a patch built within the operating system of your smart device and the Healy program. So there's got to be a patch built. So in other words, there might be some settings. So when you go to try to export a PDF, that export function tells your processor to go out and look for these handling programs, and hopefully it'll find your PDF handling program. So oftentimes if you load a brand new, say document handling program, such as a PDF app, you need to shut your device off and turn it back on so that it can then take that new app and place it into the CPU's resource pool, right? So that it can actually use it next time you want to send a PDF somewhere. So it happens all the time, is where somebody, okay, I loaded a PDF handling program and then I went right back to Healy and tried to do this job and it still won't do it. That's because you didn't shut down the system, shut it off, turn it back on so they can actually find all these new tools, right? Find the new tools and then connect the dots. So, all right. Ongni's in there helping you out too. Hopefully there's some amazing answers coming up. Okay. What else we got? I have two new, all right, let's see. I have a new 2-year Healy. Doesn't have the email or password for it. What do I do? Okay, so you have a Healy, it's 2 years old apparently. Maybe you've never used it. Don't have the email or password for it. You can put in a ticket with your serial number and see if customer service can find, make sure it's allocated to your account, right? And you're saying when your serial number is allocated to your account, your login credentials is all you need, but it's got to be assigned to your account.
Yeah, and if you can't log into support center, if you don't even have that information, you can try doing a password reset if you think you know what email address, or you can try our live chat function, which is available on our shop, the US shop, us.healy.shop, which is available from 9 a.m. to 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. You'll see a little icon in the bottom right corner that you can click on, and our team might be able to point you in the right direction for finding out.
Yeah, when you go to the shop page and you try to log in, there is a forgot password. Even if you don't know your username, it'll send you an email to whatever email address you have registered. So hopefully you can still check those. I've had some people that an email handling system was part of maybe their work and they no longer work there. There's workarounds, but this is a good place to do it because we have customer service right here in the chat. We can try to figure it out. Okay, let's see. Where are we? I think I'm a little behind here.
We had one question I saw was related to, could you help me understand about the description of the most suitable most suitable for people experiencing auditory disharmony for the program Sound of Silence. So that's one of those programs in the MagHealy Classic application. Yeah, there's a very brief description, and there's not a ton of information about that, but there is a brief mention of it in the Healy Academy, in the new MagHealy Classic application. It's probably not going to, it's a couple of seconds long, but again, go to Academy, go to MagHealy Classic application. You'll see here in this video at around the 152 mark, there's a little mention about using Sound of Silence to help, balance any sort of disturbing auditory noises that you may be experiencing. So it's a little bit more than what's in the MagHealy app manual itself, but just check that out, and hopefully it helps a little bit more than what you're looking for there.
I think Kai did a special on his podcast on Sound of Silence.
Oh, okay. So so check that out. So if you have not, let me share my screen again. Then let me go back. So for any of you that we have this new series of the Resonance podcast, and then we also have if you go to the live section here, the Healy Horizon, there was just another one yesterday actually, which was great. But if you're looking for recordings of these, so go to not the Healy World Americas, but go to Healy World Official, go to the live section, and in there you can see all the recordings for the entire year so far, 2023, of all the past episodes there. So and you can search through here too. If you want to search just within the Healy World Official page, click on this little magnifying glass over here, type in the words you were looking for. But yeah, these are great. Some of them are shorter than others, but they're definitely all worth checking out. There's some great tips and additional product information there, and they're available. If you can't catch them live each month, the recordings are all available here. And then of course, reminder on Healy World Americas, actually same thing, you actually can view the recordings of those lives, because our channel is linked to the Healy World Official as well, as far as those live broadcasts. So you can also view those recordings within Healy World Americas. And Ken, just this week we hit 4,000 subscribers on our Healy World Americas YouTube channel. So we started this a little over a year and a half ago, adding those recordings, and I remember it was a big deal when we got to 100 subscribers. And now we're up to 4,000. So definitely appreciate everyone's support, and we're just trying to make the information as easy as possible for everyone to view at their convenience, and to go back and review again and watch the recordings, take notes, try things out. So yeah, we'll continue to try to do even more on our channel. And of course, the Healy World Official has a ton of great information as well, as far as those official corporate Healy videos.
I love it. That's awesome. Well, we're here every week, and there's a lot of content in there. I know I hear a lot of people saying, man, I spend a lot of time learning about Healy, but as I mentioned earlier in the call, this is an extremely complex system, and yet it's very easily used through the app. And so the hardware, the app, everything is very easy. However, it's doing an amazing amount of things. And so we're trying to teach a lot. I spend a lot of time trying to teach folks about the concepts of quantum entanglement and quantum physics and the field of information and energy itself. There's a lot to digest because for a long time, folks, we have been really dependent upon contemporary measures, and now we have an alternative. So I love it. Thank you, Izzy. Your calls rock. She says, thank you. Appreciate that. And Aki says, I'm so thankful for the recordings. Yeah, it's these recordings. I love having that available to refer people to. It's a time saver for, if you're working with a lot of people. Okay, let's see. Do we have any other questions? Are we caught up?
I think I saw one a little bit above here. It asked about how much water should be informed during one program. 8 ounces, 24 ounces, a liter. It's really up to you. If you just want to do one glass, do 8 ounces. But if you want to inform some water and drink it throughout the day, maybe you're not going to be at home, won't have your MagHealy with you. Feel free to do 24 ounces or a liter.
Yeah, it's really convenient to actually be able to inform that water and send those frequencies in if you got your device. But what if the batteries needs to be charged, or what if you're on the move or whatever? So yeah, here's another thing I want you guys to think about is that you can take and inform one glass of water and those frequencies, and then you can parcel those out into larger containers or more containers and share that. So when it comes to the factors of dilution, it doesn't take a lot to actually influence one whole glass. So yeah, I would definitely use it on the fly. If you've got your MagHealy with you, use it on the fly. But if that's not convenient, small parts is good too. Better than zero. When we're working with someone who already has maybe a high level of performance, getting them just 1 or 2% increase in results is a lot of work. And yet 1 or 2% over a long period of time is a huge moving of the needle in terms of results. So a little bit is good over a long period of time. Let's see. Marty asked, is it a good idea to eliminate the old blue app or keep it? Yeah, I mean, if you're not using it, people are flipping back and forth. I've seen that, but the blue app is going to be the one of the future. So eventually we need to let the old one go. Just like the pink dot app, I'm getting more and more calls about people who are having struggles because they're still using the old pink dot app and it's just not supported anymore. Right. So that as your smart device software gets updated and your Healy app, the Healy app number 2 gets updated, remember the old Healy app is not going to get updated. So eventually the same thing with the blue app. It's just not going to function.
Yep.
Saves you space on your smart device too, by the way, if you delete it.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a question about VPN. It says, found out VPN is not supported with the Analyse app, but it's not listed in the manual. Is VPN expected to be allowed in future updates? So kind of think it was, yeah, we've had that issue on this call where someone was not able to connect to the Analyse app. That's not something specific to the new Analyse app. That was also with the old Analyse app as well. But during one of these Tech Tip Tuesdays, she realized she had her VPN on. She turned it off, was able to connect. So we had a success story there. But as far as if it's going to be allowed to be used in a future update, I haven't heard anything related to that changing. I don't believe that's going to be that policy there is going to be changed at all. But it's so that's not one of the things that I've heard as far as becoming soon in a future update.
Yeah, I know it's handy when you're using it for other purposes, and like you got to turn it off to operate your blue app, and then you have to turn it back on to go and maybe go on Facebook or whatever. But it's there's reasons why it needs to be off for the Healy app to work, or the Analyse app to work. So you can put the suggestion in the suggestion box and see if digital can figure it out. Okay, so do you recommend to charge the Healy when the battery is under 50% for better use on protocol? No, actually, I don't.
Yeah.
When your Healy, I try to take mine all the way to dead as often as I possibly can, so that I can get a full range of battery life, I guess you might say. So, because if you're just only using it half of its life, eventually it's going to be, you're not going to get more than that. So you want to make sure and charge it all the way up, and then completely discharge it through usage of the programs. If you're talking about intensity as to what setting to have the intensity on, then again, that's your body's own. If you have it, if you're running the microcurrent and you have that intensity set to 100% versus 50%, you're going to use more battery life. You're going to use that battery faster at 100% versus 50. But some of these frequencies, maybe they won't get through your body at 50%. So you need to make sure that that's happening. If they're getting through your body, you don't have to be at 100%. You don't even have to be at 50%. If the microcurrent is getting through your body and the app is telling you that there's flow, and you know what that looks like in the new app is that waveform going across the screen. There's flow, then that's enough. That's good. I know people think.
Thank you, Dominique, for confirming what Ken just said there. Don't recommend charging it just because it dropped below 50%. Of course, there's the occasional situation where maybe you can't drain it all the way to 0% or till it shuts off because you're going out and you won't have access to a charger. But on a regular basis, definitely is not recommended to do that. As Ken said, let it fully drain and then fully charge.
It's very important. It's even our smart devices, a lot of times folks are not using them completely and plugging them in at night just as a routine. There's going to be an effect over time, not right away, but over time. And you'll see the battery, what was expected to be 3 years winds up being 2.5 or less. I'm just talking about the smart devices now, but it's true of any rechargeable battery. Okay. Of course, there are, by the way, folks, technology in batteries is moving and advancing quite well. And it's getting better all the time. But there's still using them fully is a good recommended way of getting the maximum life. Okay, let's see what else we got. We got a couple minutes here. Lightning round. So let's see. Robin says my Healy will spontaneously turn off when I'm running a program, and not when the battery runs out. It seems related to getting more than a few feet away from my phone. Do you know why this might be happening? So does the Healy actually turn off, or you just lose connection between the phone or the smart device and the Healy? Now, how do we know what's going on with the Healy is the green light, right? So if the green light is still flashing, even though you got a long ways away from the Healy, and the blue light stops flashing, if the green light is still flashing, that means the program's still running, right? It's still running, and it'll run all the way to the end of its timed or max duration. If the blue light and the green light go off, and it's just like, seems like it's related to you getting far away from your phone, from your Healy. If the Healy does go off, turn your app back on, or take a look at your smart device and look at the app and see if the app is also off. Open the app back up and see if the app re-energizes the Healy. Okay, because the Healy can go into standby mode. See if that's happening. Another reason that a Healy might turn off ahead of the timed max direction of the program is because your body has become fully resonant with all the frequencies. It can turn off early for that, because Healy won't give you what you don't need. When your body is fully resonant with all the frequencies it picks for you for the modality of that program, it's done. It shuts off. But yeah, do a little bit more testing on that. See if that green light's going off as well. Okay. What's the name of the new blue app? So it looks like Dongni's helping out there. The Healy Advisor Analyse 2.
Yep.
Healy Advisor Analyse 2. And there's the links in there. She put the links in there for both the iOS and the Android. And by the way, folks, I highly recommend saving the chat. By the way, the links and the stuff that are in here, super awesome stuff. And the way you save that chat is the 3 little dots down there by where you type in your chat content, right next to the smiley face. Click on that. It'll show you a spot where you can save chat. And at the end of our call, stay on your computer for a second, because there'll be a message that pops up that says save chat, and you can save it to your hard drive. And you'll have all these links. All right, you guys, I think we're done. Anything else you want to get there last minute, Jake?
Just that we are going to be skipping What's Up Wednesday tomorrow, so we'll be back at that next week. But no What's Up Wednesday tomorrow if you're looking for it. So we posted that in the Telegram group, Facebook as well. But for those of you that have not seen that, we'll miss you, but we'll see you next week.
Well, thank you guys for being here. If we didn't get to your question, please come back next week. And if this was helpful, definitely invite a friend, and let's chat and see if they have some things that they can add to it as well. Thanks, Jake. Thanks, Dongni. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks, Dongni.
Big love. We'll see you guys next week. Okay, quick, save the chat. Click on the button. Bye, guys.